I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm doing some live crafting this afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Let me know if you're here. I'm just going to put the stream up on my channel on my iPad so that I can chat along with you all and see your comments. So say hello when you come in. Hi Colleen, hope you're okay. I have a box for you today using a clear embossing technique that I love. It's a great way of doing tone on tone stamping if you haven't got the same inks, but even if you have, hopefully you can see there is a lovely shine to this, and it actually is standing proud. So it's quite a nice little technique to know and do, and I think it adds some variety to what you're making. The box I've got is quite a decent size box actually. It's 6 inches by, oh, I've moved my ruler. That's typical, isn't it? There it is. I had it earlier when I measured it out. So it's 6 inches by 4 inches. Or 15 centimetres by 10 centimetres. So it is quite a nice size box, and this is 3 centimetres deep, which is just over an inch. So it's about 1 1/8 inches deep. So it is quite a nice shape and size box. And I've used one of our brand new ink colours for this one, which is quite fun. So this is the colour that I've used. It is Evening Evergreen. And this is the ribbon that goes with it as well. So you know my love for Stampin' Up, all coordinating colours. Hi Ivy, hope you're okay. Oh, it's lovely to see you. I've been meaning to message you. I've got a parcel for you here that I keep meaning to drop at the post office, and I'm so glad your name's come up. It's prompted me. That will remind me, and I wanted to just drop you a message as well. Hope you're okay. Hi Cindy. Right, let's get started. You're going to need a piece of A4 cardstock. Very big apologies to those in the States because our cardstock is longer than yours. I know yours is 11 inches. Colleen keeps telling me and I'm trying to remember it. And ours is just under 12 inches. So I will work it out as we go along for a box that you can do as well, but it will just be slightly smaller than our one. Okay, so you want to use the full sheet of A4 and you want to have your little branch out on your stamping trimmer because you're going to be using all of it, trust me. Okay, and I worked it out in centimetres, but I will tell you as I'm going through what you can do in inches, okay? So your first score line, hi Claire, hope you're okay. Okay, so your first score line you want to go lengthways to start off with is at 3 centimetres. It's quite simple measurements. So you want to do 3 centimetres, 10 centimetres, 3 centimetres, 10 centimetres, and then 3. 3, 10, 3, 10. So you want to score it at 3 centimetres, add 10 and score it at 13. Add 3 and score it at 16. Add the 10 and score it at 26 when I open it. And then add the 3 and cut it now at 29. So you should just have a little thin strip left if you're working with A4 cardstock in centimetres. If you're going to be doing this in inches, okay, you want to go for 1 inch, 4 inches, 1 inch, 4 inches and 1 inch, okay? So you want to score it at 1, 5, 6 and 10, and that will work out fine for you as well. It will then fit into your 11-inch cardstock, okay? So let me go again. If you're centimetres, you want to score at 3, 13, 16, 26 and cut it down at 29. If you're going to be doing it in inches, you want to do 1 inch, 5 inch, 6 inches, 10 inches, 11 inches finish. Okay? So back into centimetres, you now want to score. Oh, I tell you what, I think it's great. The old trimmer, if you ever had one of those, I used to really struggle to get the scoring and cutting blades off it. And it was a little fight each time I wanted to get them off. With the new trimmer, it's gone the other way and they fall off by themselves. It's ironic, really, isn't it? So if you're going with centimetres, you want to score each end at 3 centimetres, okay? So score this one. I'm going to do it by this centimetre because I just find that easier. So I'm going to score up there. And then I'm going to turn it round and do it again. If you're doing it inches, then you want to do it at 1 inch on either side. Okay? So we will have slightly different shape boxes. Well, no, different size boxes. But I wanted to get the most out of my A4 cardstock. So that's what I've done. Right, fold and burnish all the way along. And you go in the same way with all your folds. We're not really doing anything fancy. It's a really sort of standard shape box. The more fancier bit is when we get to do the heat embossing. Which, by the way, I had to do today because I've kept saying in all my videos at the moment that I'm in on heat embossing. I fell in love with it again and I'm using it on all my videos. And I keep saying on my videos, oh, guess what? I'm using heat embossing again. Get used to this. I'm going to be doing this a bit. And in the last sort of week or so, I've had lots of new customers and they're all adding Versamark to their orders. So now I feel like I should use heat embossing as a thank you for everyone who's put orders through with me for it. Okay, so it's the same on all sides, so it doesn't matter which way you do this, but you want to cut off one of the large rectangles and one of the small squares. So you can either do it up that end or up that end. I'm just going to do this one because it's facing me. And you want to cut all the way up. Okay, so that's the bit you want off and you want to do it on both sides. Oh, Ivy loves Evening Evergreen more than Fresh Freesia. A green over a purple. I can see that though, because this is a nice deep colour, whereas Fresh Freesia is really bright. Well, you know, pastel-y, isn't it? So it's more of a lighter colour. Okay, I can see that. I like Evening Evergreen. When I put the order in for the new in colours, Evening Evergreen was my least favourite. But you'll notice on my channel coming up that it's featured in nearly every video because I used it and fell in love with it. So it's now one of my top ones. So I'll just leave that for a second for anyone who's crafting along to catch up. Oh, I'm sending you a big hug, Ivy. Social distanced hug, obviously. No problem, Cindy. Anything for the measurements? Clean. Yeah, they do fall off easily on this one. So, hiya, Jane. Hope you're okay. Yeah, we did make boxes in Birmingham. Yeah, good memory, Ivy. Clean. Sorry, Caroline. Really enjoying watching your videos, Halsey. I'm a hobby demonstrator from Lincoln. Oh, hello. Caroline, welcome. Crafting along for the first time. I better get my measurements right then. No pressure. Hope you're okay. So once you've cut those pieces off, you want to cut straight up on those edges because you want You want these two bits to be perfectly straight. Okay, so fold that over, and these two here, you just want to just slightly wedge into them, okay? So just take a little bit out, just so you've got a bit of manoeuvring, okay, on both of the square pieces. And you want to do exactly the same over on the other side. So I hope all your weeks have gone well. I've had an interesting day today. I was planning on crafting all day. I've got a few things coming up at weekends in the next few weeks. Don't worry, I'll still make my lives. But I thought I'd better get some of my videos for YouTube done. And I sat having my breakfast this morning, and I've got a large Juliet balcony that looks out over the canal. And I've got a little nest on the side. Some little coots have made a nest. And I tell you what, they're ever so busy all day building their nest. And a canal barge come along today, and it caught the side of their nest and it pulled it apart. Luckily, both of the little coots were fine, but Daddy Coot has had to go out all day, and he keeps bringing back all these bits of straw, and Mummy Coot keeps building the nest. It's absolutely fascinating. I haven't moved off the sofa watching that. It's been really interesting. Really interesting. Okay. So once you've done that, you want to pop some glue on the 4 tabs. So I'm using Seal, but you'd be better if you were using Seal Plus, but I've had a little bit of a tantrum with my Seal Plus. It got itself twisted, and then I tried to untwist it, but it got twisted even more, and it's over there for when I've got patience tonight to fix it. So you just want to pop both of the tabs in, okay, to create your box. It really is a very simple box, this one. Okay, and then you pop that in, and it sits in just like that. Really simple. Now, with these boxes, if you wanted to create any other different sizes, all you need to remember is that this end, the middle bit, and this end need to all be the same size, and the strip at the side needs to be the same size. So whereas I did an inch on all of them, or 3 centimeters, you can fluctuate that as much as you want, and you can do this one and this one different sizes, but they must be the same size, that one and that one. So you can go bigger or wider and make the box your own shape. But we've done it this one because I like big boxes. It reminds me of a Maltesers box. Okay, so for decorating this, I've got a half a sheet of our evening evergreen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it. So first of all, I'm going to trim it at 5 3/4 inches. Oh, I'm scoring it, not trimming it. Okay, so it will sit just like that on the box, so you'll get just a slight frame. I'm hoping you can see it. I know it's dark colour on dark colour, but hopefully you can see that. And 3 3/4 inches. So 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 inches. Okay, which if you're doing it in centimetres is 14.5 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. And that's your first layer. Then you want to cut another one. That is 5.5 inches. Or 14 centimetres by 3.5 inches or 9 centimetres. And then this bit here that you've cut off, you want to keep hold of that, because that's what we're going to do our sentiment with, just there. Okay, so keep hold of that, pop it to the side. So for those crafting along, I'll repeat those for you. This one here is 5 3/4 of an inch or 14.5 centimetres by 3 3/4 of an inch or 9.5 centimetres. This one here, slightly smaller, is 5.5 inches or 14 centimetres by 3.5 inches or 9 centimetres. And this one here, the bigger one, you don't really want to do much with it, so just pop it to the side and we'll come back to it. It's the smaller one that you want first. Okay, Georgina, love your videos from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Oh, how amazing! I've got family who live over there. Very jealous. It looks lovely. I've never been, but it looks amazing. Thanks for joining. And watching nature TV is the best. Yes. Live nature as well. It's been absolutely fascinating. I got my camera out at one point and tried to take pictures, but unfortunately it's a bit blurry. So, and plus the fact I thought Mr. Coot would not be very happy with me taking lots of pictures of him running around slaving for building his re-nest again. So embossing, and I'm using the clear embossing powder. So I'm really glad that this is back. We hadn't had clear embossing powder for a bit, but it's back in the new catalogue and it comes as a 3-pack. So you can get the clear embossing powder, the white embossing powder and the black embossing powder. Personally, myself, I'm not too keen on the black, but I absolutely love white and clear embossing powders. So, so happy about that little bundle. So I'm just going to run my embossing buddy over my cardstock. Okay, and I'm using the Shaded Summer Cling Stamp set. So this is brand new from the catalogue. I actually got this for free. Let me tell you how I got this one for free. We have a host promotion on at the moment. So if you spend £150 with Stampin' Up, you get 10% to spend free anywhere in the catalogue. So obviously you get £15. But if you go to £200, you still get that 10%. But for this month only, Stampin' Up are giving us £20 to spend on a stamp set. And this stamp set was £20. So I got this. Or was it £21? I don't know, but either way, it ended up as a free stamp set for me. And I was very excited because I really wanted it and I like getting stuff I really like for free. So you can take advantage of that host promotion, by the way. If you go to slimandstylish.stampinup.net, shop with me this month. Like I said, anything over £150, you get £15 free. But if you go up to £200, you're going to end up with £40 free because you'll get your 10% plus your free £20 item. So I'm just using my Versamark on this bigger one here. And I'm just going to stamp this all the way around the card. Now, you might not see because Versamark is clear, but I can see here because I've got the light just behind it. I can roughly see where I've stamped it. You'll be able to see it when I put the powder on. So I'm just going to do a few mixtures of this. So this is what it will look like. So I've put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stamps on this one. I'm going to do roughly the same on this one. And grab my Versamark again. And just, I've got 2 little gaps here. I bet you can't really see that on there, but you will see it when I add the powder on. Sorry, it's a bad one to do on videos because people can't see what you're doing. And if you do it in person, when I used to do this at craft classes, you could see it really clearly. Just put that there. Okay. That is the whole cardstock covered. So I'm just going to open this up now. If you have put scrap paper like me down, make sure you don't put the powder into this paper because it will stick to this paper. So if you just open it, for instance, like I have, then this hasn't got any images on, so it'll be fine. But because where the Versamark went off here, it would have stuck to the other side. And this is the clear embossing powder, but it goes on white. And then when you've used the heat embossing, it then turns clear. I'm being really liberal with that, aren't I? Look, the whole pot. Uh-oh, looks like I was heavy-handed with the stamp. Can you see what I've done? So you know sometimes when you're heavy-handed with a stamp, you catch the rubber around the edge of the stamp and it leaves a mark on your card. With embossing, it does exactly the same. So you can see I've just got a wisp here. So all I'm going to do is just use my little paintbrush fan just to pop that off. And I've done the same around the top up here. So I can use my little fan brush and I can just disturb the embossing powder up there and get that off. Okay, you could have used, if you don't have a little fan paintbrush like me, I love these, by the way, I always keep them for my embossing, they're really handy. But, if you don't have one of those, you could use what could you use? You'll take a pick tool. If you use the putty end, it will pick up the embossing powder for you. Of course, you won't be able to reuse it then, but it's only a tiny little bit. So just use your putty tool to pick it up and that will work too. Pop the lid on that before I throw it all over the place. Okay. So I'm going to be using my heat emboss tool. So if you've got me on loud, turn me down, otherwise I'm going to blast you, okay? And you'll be able to see the change. It will go from white to a really nice sort of see-through colour as we go, sort of tone on tone. So I'll hold it up close to the camera so hopefully you can see it and it will be focused. Oh, trying to wield the lead of the heat emboss tool. Let's pick it back up again. There we go. Oh. And there we go, all done. Now, clear embossing powder, I actually think is the easiest embossing powder to work with. So when you do white or any of the coloured embossing powders, I sometimes think they're hard to see if you've actually got it all, but because the clear embossing powder turns from white to whatever you're putting it on, it's one of the easiest ones to check you've got it all. So if you're new to heat embossing, try clear heat embossing first. Okay, so let's have a look through my comments. Oh, Cindy, oh, you could see the shadows of the Versamark. That's good. It saves me doing what I call nude stamping, where you can't actually see what I'm doing. Colleen, could I use a 12-inch square piece of cardstock and cut it down to that size? You totally can, Colleen, yes. Our A4 cardstock is 11 3/4 inches by 8 inches. So you can trim your 12 by 12 down to get it the same size as mine. Or if you've got a great big piece of 12 by 12, you could make a really nice square box. Still do your inch. So what would you do? You'd score it at 1 inch, score it at 5.5 inches, score it at 6.5 inches, and then score it at 11. And then turn it around and score it 1 inch on that side and 1 inch on that side, and you get a really nice big square box. Actually, that would be a really nice box to do. Colleen, thank you for the mention, Halsey. I'm sure the measurements are fine. Oh, I hope so. And Cindy, I got heavy-handed one time brushing off excess and took part of what was needed to be embossed. Yeah, I've done that too. Just pop the powder back on and it'll stick a treat. So now you want a few dimensionals, and I'm going to use quite a few. I'm going to be very heavy-handed with the dimensionals because when you actually heat emboss paper, it warps slightly. So I'm going to put a whole load of these on. I'm just going to cover the back with them. Look at that. Aren't I being very, what's it called? The opposite to uneconomical. Yeah. Extravagant, that's it. Aren't I being extravagant? But it will help hold it in place nice. And plus the fact, as it's a box, I think it's going to help keep it looking nice. You don't want it dipping in the middle. So then you just want to layer this onto that slightly bigger piece that we cut earlier. Okay. And then that will be what goes on there. But what we want to do first is we want to play with the ribbon, because you'll notice my ribbon actually doesn't come across the front of the box. It goes underneath just there. So what I'm going to do with that is grab the ribbon, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of adhesive, and I'm going to put myself a strip in the middle of the card of adhesive. Not much of it, just a bit to keep the ribbon in place. So I've just put a little blob there. Hopefully you can see. It doesn't need to be much, it just needs to keep it in place. And then however much you need to create half of your bow. Okay, so about that much really. Stick that on. Okay, I've got, how much have I done? So you can see if you want to do the same or more. I've done about 27 centimetres. Oh no, that was from where I put the glue. Ignore that. 23 centimetres I've done, which is in inches for everyone. It's about 8 inches. And then when I go round, I will do the same. So it creates this lovely sort of side bow, and I'll show you how to do that. But first of all, you want to pop this onto your card now. So again, some dimensionals. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a dimensional there and there to keep the ribbon in place. Might be easier to open the lid. And then just layer that onto the lid. Okay. And that's how you get the ribbon to feed through. Before I tie that up, that little bit earlier that I told you to keep hang of, you want that for your heat embossing. So this time we're going to use the white Stampin' Emboss powder. So you know I told you they come as a bundle. we're going to use both of them. We're going to be really extravagant with our heat embossing. So I'm just going to use my embossing buddy again. I've already put the sentiment onto my stamp, and I'm using this one, Love You Friend, because I think that's really nice. I think that's one of my favourite sentiments that I've seen, because I do send, like, you know, on cards to friends, I put love house or whatever. Love you and then friend after, I think is really just nice, because you can't send a friend a love you sentiment because it's a bit mushy. But love you friend is just, I think it's a really nice sentiment. So I'm just going to stamp that down. Put a little bit of embossing powder over the top. And you'll think it looks exactly the same as the clear, and it does. So sometimes it's a bit confusing whether you've used the clear or the white, because they do look the same. But this one is definitely my white. I checked the label twice when I picked it up. Okay, pop the lid on that. But yeah, there you are. This one's the clear one and that one's the white one. So definitely read the labels when you start using these. Or you could always run some washi tape around the side so you know which one's which. So I'm just going to pop my heat tool on again and get embossing. So as you can see, it's not as clear with the white when you've actually got it, you know, heat embossed. It's not like the clear where it changes colour. Hi, Audrey. Lovely to see you. Sorry you're late. And so you should be. I'll do you lines. Better late than never. Thanks for joining. Oh, and you're going to watch on catch up. That's nice. Thank you. I wondered why no emboss on box top. This is just an exquisite design. Oh, yeah, the reason why I didn't do the emboss on the top of the box, I'll actually explain that, is because I went off the page, I would have actually had to mask the sides or carried the embossing all the way around. I didn't want to carry the embossing all the way around. I just wanted it to be a sort of single focus piece. So that's why I did it as a top, and I layered it twice just to give it that extra sort of I don't know, elegance, I think. Hi, Sue. Hope you're okay. Lovely to see you. Right, so I'm just going to chop up about there and probably about there. And you know this one. I'm sure you've all seen this one because this is like my favourite party trick. It's just making a little flag. I bet this is on about 90% of my videos. I reckon if I look back, it would just be the odd one that didn't have me making a little flag somewhere. Right, so a couple of dimensionals on the back of that. I'm just going to line that up with the edge of my embossed panel. A little bit wherever there's sort of a gap. I don't want to cover my pretty flowers that I've spent time embossing, so that will be fine. Okay, to finish it off, I'm going to run that round and put my bow in. I haven't cut it off my reel yet, so I'll be able to see when I've got the bow the right size and then cut it off. Could you hear that? There's some guy that's, I think he must have just been bought a motorbike, or well, it's a moped really, on our road. He's been doing wheelies back and front all day today. Ever so dangerous, she says judgmentally as she looks out of her window at him. Just keep checking that he's like far away from my car. And there we go. So to finish it off, I used some rhinestones, the teeny tiny little ones at the top, and I just popped 3 of those for some bling, really, in there. And there you go. My little fake Maltesers box. I don't know in the States if you have boxes of Maltesers as opposed to the bags. We sometimes get the boxes more probably around Christmas time, and they are literally this shape and size. So that's why I'm calling it the Maltesers box. But there we are, there's the project. Thanks everyone for joining. Everything I've used today you can buy from my website, which is slimandstylish.stampinup.net. If you have liked the video, I don't know why I'm doing this. Normally when I create my videos in the week and edit them, I will put the I will put my website at the bottom, but I can't do that on lives. So there's nothing there, but there is in the description box. But yes, you can pop along and get them there. If you have enjoyed the video, please do give me a thumbs up. It's been lovely to see some faces on here that I haven't seen for ages, or, well, names. So yes, thank you ever so much for joining. Glad you enjoyed. Thanks, Ivy. Thanks, Colleen. Thanks, Audrey. Cheers, Cindy. I'm glad you've all enjoyed. Have a lovely week, everybody, and I will see you next Sunday. Thanks, everyone. See you again soon. Bye.